has been following local politics very closely, and he is in a position to tell us how he feels about what now, after the Constitutional Court decided yesterday to dissolve Move Forward Party. What does he expect will happen from now on? สวัสดีครับคุณฟัวดีครับ
สวัสดีครับคุณสุทธิชัยครับ
So how disappointed are you?
That's I think I share the same feeling with at least 39% of the voters, 14 million people, and probably more, with the latest poll being close to 50% approval rating for Move Forward Party. But first of all, I have to say that whatever I say today is in personal capacity and as an independent observer with interest in Thai politics and Thailand with interest to see Thailand democratize in a way that is acceptable to the international standards, I think. Yeah.
Do you see this as a setback for Thai democracy?
Oh, definitely. I don't think you can argue any other way. I think it's anyone who still believe that Thai democracy is not backsliding from what happened yesterday, is being inconsistent. How we see democracy as the way it should be.
We see a lot of statements from foreign governments, the State Department, USA, the EU, we see Canada, New Zealand, United Kingdom, and I think many other countries have issued statements. The Thai government just issued a statement, the foreign ministry. It was a very general statement, insisting that the court is independent and that the government cannot interfere with court decisions. And at the same time, Thailand remains committed to our agreements in the international arena about human rights, about pluralism, about democracy. What do you think about the Thai Foreign Ministry statement tonight?
Is the statement in Thai or English? I have not seen the statement in English yet.
In Thai. I heard it on the statement read by the spokesman of the Foreign Ministry in Thai. I haven't seen it in English either.
But it's very interesting that it's only released in Thai.
It should be in English, yeah?
Yeah, because if the message is to the international community, back on Thai sovereignty, Thai independence, should have been in English. And I think the fact that it's only in Thai is telling. It's telling in the fact that the message is probably geared towards Thai audience. And I think the diplomats are smart enough to do that. I give them the benefit of the doubt that they are savvy enough to only.
I know.
Yeah.
But I think they must come up with an English version. But I haven't seen it yet.
I think they will, but I think it's also telling that the first statement is in Thai. I think they may be dissenting or they may be holding back because they know. I think these are professional in how to deal with international community, how to deal with the embassies, other diplomats, other countries. I think they are showing their way of doing it and not really doing it. It's a way to protect Thai interests in a savvy way, I think.
I think the target for the statement is the Thai audience, the domestic market, rather than the international community.
Yes, now you have to translate it to your international friends. What was said, but I think it's quite savvy. I think these are professional in how to deal with these things, and I think they are showing sign of dissenting in some way. I think.
Also interesting is that the Pheu Thai Party has not issued a statement on this. Someone posted a statement by Pheu Thai Party when Anakot Mai was dissolved. But they're waiting for Pheu Thai statement on the dissolution of Khao Klai.
It's really interesting because I mean, even the statement in Thai by the foreign ministry talks about the separation of power, right? The three branches of government that balance each other out: the judiciary, the legislative branch, and the executive branch. This I see as a big encroachment from the judiciary against both the legislative and the executive. So it's in the interest of Setha to actually push back on this, because he is being subjected to the similar things on August 14. So I'm really surprised that Pheu Thai Party and Setha has not come out to push back yet.
On the contrary, Setha said yesterday when the reporters asked him about the dissolution, the verdict by the Constitutional Court, he said that Thailand is an independent country. We have our own system, so we don't expect foreign interference. We don't want foreign interference. So he was in effect protecting the whole system, the whole three branches.
It's quite surprising, given that he said that, but at the same time he has said that we want our international standing to improve. We want to be respected. We want to promote soft power. We want to attract more investors. We want to negotiate FTA with the EU. We want to do OECD. We want to become a member of the UN Human Rights Council. And he said that he doesn't want opinion from international community on how we're doing, because all these things, our track record on democracy, on human rights, will get factored in a lot of our interests internationally, right? I think it will affect how engaged the like-minded country, the EU country, the US, Japan, and Korea, how much they can cooperate with us. And what the judiciary did, I really want to point out that it is really throwing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the military under the bus, because the military wants to buy either Gripen or F-16. And I think these will factor in, right? I mean, the military will make it tougher for Thai military to modernize because of what the court did. So it's actually an encroachment by the court. What the court did affect the work of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Thai armed forces and the Thai military as well. So it's not just this decision by the court affect many aspects of how we deal with the international community. It has an impact. So they can't really say that their decision is done without, they cannot not care about what the international community thinks, because it affects how Thailand engage and cooperate with the international community.
Well, in the verdict yesterday, the Constitutional Court talked about comments from academics, politicians, and foreign diplomats, and insisting that each country has its own different context, laws. So any expressions of opinions should consider international legal ethics, right? And I think a lot of people noted that this is the first time that any court verdict mentions foreign diplomats' opinions on the procedures of the court.
It is consistent. It is inconsistent in a lot of ways, because if you look at that statement, it says that our legal interpretation, constitution, based on Thai context, based on Thailand has its own sovereignty to do this. But then it says that diplomacy, should be other ambassador and other countries should respect Thailand according to international standards, according to diplomatic standards. So law is insular, right? Or legal interpretation is based on sovereignty of a country, but then international engagement, international diplomacy has international standards. So it's really inconsistent in another way because, if you talk to law professor, they will say that, legal system also have international standards that we should live up to as well.
That's so it's a very interesting incident because I think the Constitutional Court is trying to defend itself from comments from the international community, and because of the very outspoken opinions from several embassies here and also from abroad, then I think they feel the pressure that, hey, is this an attempt to influence Thai courts' decisions? But then this is politics. It's a political issue. It's not really a legal issue in the international sense. This is the kind of what many statements talk about: pluralism, democracy, and transparency, and disenfranchisement. I think that is a very important word. Enfranchisement of 14 million voters who cast their vote for Move Forward Party.
Congress went all the way to calling for reinstatement and reviewing U.S.-Thai relation. That is quite far in terms of how they take this issue very seriously, right? Because Thailand is a U.S. ally, and as a U.S. ally, I think we are expected to do better than this. I think there is an international expectation of how Thailand was once like a darling of the West, of the darling of the liberal democracy, was an example of was one of the Asian tigers, right? And then I think we have failed to live up to that. I think that is something really sad to see.
Well, as a student of international relations, how would that fit into normal international relations practice? When a certain country, the court of a certain country rules on its own domestic political issues, legal issues, how can other countries react?
I think other countries are also entitled to their opinion, right? Because they have an interest in the stability, the democracy in Thailand, because they have investment here. All these companies engage with Thailand, all these, American, EU, Australian, Japan, Korean company all operate here, and they want to see stability, and they want to see Thailand do better on this because if you see, I think there is a direct link that people haven't really touched up on or talked about yet. There is a direct link between political uncertainty that is happening now at the hand of the court, of the judiciary, right? That is affecting the economy in a big way. I think the fact that Thailand has become less competitive, less attractive in terms of the economy has a lot to do with the fact that our politics is so uncertain and largely, and in a lot of ways, one of the big factors is how the judiciary have been weaponizing the law, has been engaging in rule by law instead of rule of law.
Well, it's clear that the definition of constitutional monarchy is not clear in this country. It's up to interpretation. As a political party, you don't know how much you can say, how much you can do, how much you can put in your platform.
I think it's a really big deal because, like I said, this principle of separation of powers, right? You are seeing one branch being weaponized, being empowered to encroach upon the authorities of the other two branches. The court is basically operated in this ambiguity that basically saying to the MPs, the legislative branch, that, hey, this is the realm, this is the line that you cannot touch. Although they don't say that directly, but they blur that line, right? They create a line. They say you can cross, but then you can't really cross. If you cross, then you don't know what would happen to you, right? And I think this is a big deal. This is a big deal. So the MFA statement about how the separation of power is the reason for Thailand, history. It's good for our history, our development, our political stability in the past. Right. It is. right? It is not, because the problem here, the big problem, is an encroachment from one branch on the other. Yeah.
But the court can say that this is stipulated in the Constitution. We're just following the Constitution.
But then it's so much subjective, to their interpretation, right? That is the problem. And then if you trace it back, how does this constitution came about? It was on the back of a military coup d'etat, and then the Senate who approved the court, right? who approved all these official in the election commission, in the court were the Senate, and the Senate were appointed by the NCPO, who are appointed by military appointed personnel. There's a lot of conflict of interest here, so it's not it's not a fair arbitrator of the argument that we are in right now as a country.
But let me cite a very telling paragraph. It says in Thai that ศาลรัฐธรรมนูญต้องสั่งยุบพรรคผู้ถูกร้องตามที่กฎหมายบัญญัติอย่างไม่อาจหลีกเลี่ยงได้ ไม่อาจหลีกเลี่ยงได้ meaning that the court has no choice but to dissolve the party, meaning that legal interpretation compels the court. There's no other option. The implication is that if the 9-member panel of the Constitutional Court decides otherwise, then they would be seen to be not performing their duty. You see, so I think this is a very important statement. ไม่อาจหลีกเลี่ยงได้นะ They have to follow that the law. Of course, you would say it's up to the interpretation, right? It is their own interpretation. But in this sentence precedes the sentence about foreign diplomats' comment. So I'm
not sure what to say because we all watch it on play, and I think there are many routes that or many arguments that the court can dismiss. Well, there was an argument about the illegality of the election commission process. The court say that is not the issue. So, and there are other argument that pave way for the courts to step down from this to dismiss the case. And it only happened if it happened for the Democrat Party in the past, it could have happened again, right? So it's not. I don't think it is set in stone, but they see it that way. So with due respect to the court, what it is right now, and then we're dealing with the effect of it now.
Okay, let's see what aftermath this will bring about to the country, and of course the local politics. You already see that the Move Forward Party would have to move to another party. They have to reorganize it, and they are not sure whether their fate, this is the end of the line. They might go to the PPC, the Anti-Corruption Committee, which is investigating allegations that 44 former Gaokai MPs signed a bill to amend the 112 Lèse Majesté law. So they are being investigated for a very strange allegation to serious ethical misbehavior, whatever. ผิดจรรยาบรรณอย่างร้ายแรง which again is very subjective. And there were examples before. At least 2 politicians were banned for life because of that accusation. So it is fear that the 44 MPs of Move Forward Party could face the same fate. And that would virtually wipe out the whole leadership. First tier, second tier, third tier are out of the picture.
I mean, which mean it is a much bigger problem then basically what the court is saying is that if the verdict were against the 44 MPs and they are banned for life, then basically what the court is telling Thai people, the Thai polity, Thai people as a whole, basically that is the issue that cannot be touched, right? And politics as the formal politic is not the way, parliamentarian politic is not the way to voice their opinion anymore. And this is a really big deal to destroy that belief in the system, that belief in parliamentarian democracy, liberal democracy. I think that is much bigger deal. So what happened now, if young people don't see electoral politics as a choice to voice their opinion, to voice their concern, to see it as a hope, to carry their hope and dream with hope to change, to make the country more progressive. That is a much bigger deal, I think, than just a verdict, right? It's saying that the system doesn't allow you to see the formal politics as hope. Yeah.
So what will now happen if the mood, say in U.S. Congress, say we must reassess our relations with Thailand?
I think one of the things that you will see. I think even the U.S. is in a big dilemma, right? U.S., EU, even Japan, Korea are in a big dilemma because there is geopolitical concerns. I think that is a big dilemma now, and I think the world is watching. I think Thai political observers are watching whether there will be any follow-up actions from America, from the State Department. On this, right? Because the ambassador have said in different circle more than one time that the red line is move forward dissolution. So I think it's about next step now. What will that be? But I also understand them as well, right? I think being too tough on Thailand means opening more opportunity for China and for Russia to be closer to Thailand, and the US might not want to see that. So I think it's balancing act between signaling the fact that it cannot be business as usual for Thailand-US relation, but then they still have to keep in mind about geopolitical tension and competition in this region and in Thailand as well.
The Vice Foreign Minister Kun Rat Chalichan in his Facebook page yesterday said, "Dear ambassadors, where were you or your predecessors when the court dissolved other political parties? Where were you when the dictatorship government came up with the draft constitution that gave the power to the court to dissolve political parties, which was later endorsed by the majority of the Thai people? Did you come out to protest or voice your concern or anything?" But of course, standing up to dictatorship is never easy, even at the ambassadorial level. And he continued to say, "I would like to also point out that while Move Forward Party gained most seats in the last election, they are still far short from representing the real majority of the Thai people. So to you, democratic principles only apply to certain people or party in particular, but not the whole system?" And he ended up by saying, "While constructive comments from our friends are always welcome, more showing of understanding of the situation is very much appreciated." He's the Vice Minister, Foreign Minister. So
I think I'm quite surprised. I know the minister quite well, so I have to reserve my comments a little bit. I still have to work with him on a few things. But then I don't think you can apply the same logic with Pheu Thai. This is a clear encroachment. It's not the fact that Move Forward is popularly elected, right? It's much bigger than that. It's about suppressing the role of the legislative branch in deliberating a law. No law should be above debates, above deliberation in the parliament. That is the problem to me, right? And that is the cause for concern. And I think to me that warrant some opinion. That I fully understand why the international community have issue with us. They do stand up when there is a coup too, right? So So I think he should have mentioned that when it is serious, they do stand up, and I'm sure other countries do speak up when political parties get dissolved, major political party get dissolved.
Yep. I remember when Thai, no, not Thai, Thai Rak Thai and Palang Prachachon were dissolved.
Yeah.
There were comments from the international community.
They do, yeah. But I think with social media, with the international attention giving to Thailand as an important geostrategic country, I think the world cares a lot more about Thailand. And then I want to point out the fact that the Japanese ambassador and Korean ambassador came to the lunch, and you not normally say you don't normally see Asian country participating in a gesture like this with an opposition leader who were about to be banned. So I think it's quite broad-based in terms of international concern on this, right?
Why would Japan and South Korea be worried?
Oh, because they do see Thailand shifting towards bigger geopolitical power, right? Because they have a lot of investment here. And the Japanese, the Korean are quite worried about the investment, about engagement here with in terms of the economy here too. They want stability, and they probably realize that with Move Forward to Solve, we are in for a unpredictable period of Thai politics, right? Yeah.
Maybe it's unintentional, but this incident could push Thailand closer to China, Russia than the West. You think that shift? And I don't think the Thai government or the Thai court looked at this particular dimension of the event, but I think in effect, the West or Japan or Korea look at Thailand and say, you don't like comments from the outside because some of our friends, don't comment at all and say we don't interfere with local politics. We respect your rights. So very subtly, the shift of our standing will shift towards China, Russia, more than say America, EU, Japan, and Korea. You think?
There is a theory called democratic peace theory, right, in political science, that democracy fight each other less.
Okay.
Cooperate better and fight each other less. So I think it is in the interest of Australia, of New Zealand, of Indonesia, of Japan, of Korea, the Asian democratic countries, to see Thailand still stay on this path of what we could call ourselves a democracy, because we would be able to cooperate better. Just because of the value that are ally with each other will make the interest in terms of cooperation much easier, right?
No, it reminds me of when the coup took place. Every time a coup took place in Thailand, you see comments from the West. You don't hear comments from Beijing or from Moscow. And then automatically, you feel that they understand you more.
They are waiting for this opportunity, I think. And then I think this is what the liberal democratic countries need to think about as well. I think they are in for a big dilemma between trying to balance between values and interests, foreign policy approaches, right? I mean, on the value base, I mean, will they let Thailand go so easily on this after having made statement, having shown different gesture? But on the other hand, they also need to keep Thailand, close to Thailand to open that channel of communication, still have that relationship. So it's a balancing act. I think what we're waiting to see is how far that non-business as usual would go. I think observers are expecting some non-business as usual practices, how this would affect Thai-US relation. But I don't think anyone is expecting a total sanction that would push Thailand away towards China and Russia from Western liberal democracy. Yeah.
But it would leave a very clear mark on the relationship. How would that affect our application to be a member of the UN Human Rights Council?
I think a lot of it has to do with whether Thailand feel that it deserves to join.
Apply. We did
yeah,
apply.
I
We
think
have-
it's yeah, I know, but it's a big dilemma, right? I mean, there are two ways to think about this.
Yeah.
Yes, we should still support Thailand to join the UN Human Rights Council because international scrutiny, because international engagement will put Thailand, will make Thailand subjected to live up to a better standards. So there is an argument for even despite this, Thailand should join.
Yeah.
So that we will be scrutinized, we will make ourselves feel that we need to deliver on some of these things. So there is an argument for Thailand to still join, but our reputationally, I think we suffer a lot in terms of our democratic standing, our human rights records, our international student standing. That the PM, that our country really want to get recognized internationally, right? I think that path toward creating respect, gaining recognition, staking our claim is much tougher now. Yeah.
Also, we have applied to join OECD.
Yeah, and I think this will be a big issue because there are certain standards that we have to meet. And after all these, right, apply to OECD, joining UNSRC, wanting to promote soft power, attracting foreign investor, and the PM said that what he said, I think it's quite surprising. It doesn't make any sense, right, in terms of consistency in the messaging. Yeah, and I think the two entities that should be most upset about what happened is the military and the MFA. I have said this before.
Yeah.
This is throwing the military under the bus.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know in what way? Because the military in this geopolitical tension, as a security analyst, as an observer of international affairs, you know that Thai military has to be modernized, has to be stronger, both in terms of soft infrastructure, in terms of mindset, in terms of personnel, in terms of values, and in terms of assets, in terms of hard infrastructure assets. But the court decision will make the military modernization much tougher, right? Because US, in order, for example, the sale of F-16, in order for the sale of F-16 for the US to grant approval for Thailand to buy, Congress has to approve, the State Department has to approve. They might not agree, but it will be much more difficult, right? I mean, they have to be to vet Thailand, whether Thailand live up to the international standard, whether Thailand can still be a reliable ally for the US to sell these weapons, these modernization to Thailand. In the end, they might rationalize and give in to the geopolitical tensions that Thailand still needed, right, as our ally, and make an exception or let that sales go through. But the path will not be as smooth as what could have been without the court decision. And this not just F-16, right? Gripen will suffer the same thing. The EU countries will need to rethink whether they will sell Gripen to Thailand or not. And the MFA, imagine a young foreign Thai diplomat having to explain what happened in Thailand to their foreign counterparts. Man, I feel really bad for them. And I think the fact that the statement was released in Thai is quite telling. I think now they will be forced to say it in English. I'll wait to see how softer the tone would be. I don't think it will be the same tone. If it is the same tone, I think it will suffer even more. And I think the foreign ministry personnel, the diplomat know this. Yeah.
You won't aspire to be an ambassador from now on.
Right now, yeah. I mean, I think it's the hope and dreams of young people, not just the voters, but the civil servant as well. I think the young people in the judiciary system, I think are probably quite disillusioned by what happened. The young people in the foreign ministry, the young military officers must be quite worried about what is happening right now in their country.
What you said was interesting, that there is a big difference when the statement is issued in Thai and in English.
I think we have to watch. I think the statement in English, they will be pushed to say something in English. And then I think it will be good to compare the two, whether they will say the same thing or not. And if they say the same thing, what the international reaction would be on that, I think. Yeah.
Well, the Prime Minister told reporters today, I saw the draft of the Foreign Ministry statement, and I think it's okay. It will not create any conflicts, he said that. จงไม่มีเรื่องระหองระแหง I don't know
you mean you saw the draft, the PM said?
The PM said
The
that...
statement in English.
I don't know whether it's English or Thai.
Yeah, I think that is the question, big question mark now.
Right. Right.
But I see this as a positive sign. I see this as the diplomat being very savvy. Right? Yeah. I think protecting Thailand interests in their own diplomatic way. They have to manage the expectation of the executive branch. Going after them, like what Kun Rachada was saying, right? The foreign ministry need to act, and now they're acting, but they are also acting in a quite a smart way, I think. I have to compliment them for that. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be the diplomat who was assigned to draft this statement. I would be the last one. And because I know it would remain in the history of Thai diplomacy for a long, long time to come.
Yeah.
Students of international relations, political science, and law will study this. And future lecturers and professors will use this as a case study. He said, when you face a situation like this, as a diplomat, what do you do?
I mean, it's basically, if there will be an English statement, it will basically tantamount to saying that Thailand would want to be left alone and not engage with any country, right? I mean, this will happen at the time when we want free visa to the EU country, when we want to join UN Human Rights Council, join OECD, promote soft power. Soft power is about other people respecting us, right?
Yeah.
And then we're doing this to our own people. I'm not sure how much respect we could really gain, right? Other than force, feeling like we should be respected. But I think it's all relative. It needs two people when for soft power to take place.
I know. And the fact that we are speaking English could be seen as unpatriotic.
I'm sure there will be comments already, right? Unpatriotic.
But I think it's important that we communicate to the international community in English. And that there should be programs like this where, diplomats, foreign diplomats, Thai foreign ministry people can sit down and discuss this openly.
Yes.
And if the Thai government has strong arguments, why not? Why not face them and say, this is what we do, this is our principles. And then, the Western diplomats can make their case, and then you can argue. If this happens in Singapore or Malaysia, you will see the government there very openly arguing with diplomats, foreign diplomats.
Yeah, but it was never this bad, I feel, in Singapore and Malaysia. But you remember when Mahathir and Lee Kuan Yew were referring to Asian values.
Yes.
As a way to protect Asian interests, their way of ruling, right?
Yeah.
But even that, they deliver on something. I think for a country to be respected, you need three things. Respect doesn't have to be in a positive way, right? Fear can be called respect as well. There are three things, right? You either have political legitimacy, the government that has political legitimacy, or like Vietnam, you have economic legitimacy. Or you have a really strong military might. You don't have economic legitimacy. You don't have political legitimacy, but you have strong military, like Russia, for example, right? Or some really strong something in terms of force, with brutal force, and people are fearful of you for that. But Thailand doesn't have any of that. Like we don't even have a path to get there, right? I mean, if the government of the past 10 plus years do deliver on economic, like Singaporean did, like Singapore was able to achieve, I think the pressure on the political front will be much less, and the feeling of the people will be much less. With this level of grievances, this level of grudges, right? I mean, at least you need something to make people feel, and the international community feel that the government, the establishment, have a future.
So what's our bargaining power?
That's the problem. What is our bargaining power? We had a chance. We were about to have the political legitimacy that as bargaining power. What we were denied of that. Our country were denied of that. And now I think military modernization will be affected, right?
The only claim for us, for the Western governments to still keep us as a friend, is our geographical location.
Geopolitical reason. I think it has a lot to do with it, right? The Thailand is still,
lose us. They don't want to lose us to the other side.
They don't want to lose us to the other side. Yeah.
So we threaten them by saying, if you put too much pressure on us, we're going to go to the other way, the other side. Right?
I think we can do that to only a certain extent. At the end of the day, I think eventually the liberal democracy will ask themselves, is it worth it to keep Thailand? Yeah, I think that is the game theory part that the Thai establishment is playing, right? Trying to see, that's why we are joining both BRICS and OECD, right? Trying to show this savviness. But at the end of the day, I think eventually, I'm not sure if we matter that much to them.
Right.
Our market is getting smaller. Our economy is not really growing.
No. I don't think that we have very strong bargaining power there. We just rely on the fact that we are lucky to be located here, right in the middle of Southeast Asia.
Yeah. But there are silver lining in all this, right? I mean, if you look at at least country in mainland Southeast Asia compared to other nations, I think the energy of young people, the energy of adults like yourself, like Kunanan, who have came out to support young people, I think is a cause for not for celebration. I think for silver lining that we should look up to. I think there's something on this, that we should be happy about amidst all these gloomy picture of how our country is going to move forward.
We see a lot of gloomy cloud, but we cannot despair. We cannot give up. We have to somehow find a way out. Or the solution is, as Kun Thaksin said in Thai, "Tang kon tang yu." Live and let live.
I mean, he said that
not about this. He said this when reporters asked him a few months ago how he would respond to critics about his behavior locally.
But his behavior affects other people. That's a problem, right? I think
I was assuming that if you're going to ask, Thaksin about this, if he has no other better answer, he would say, "Tang kon tang yu ka la kan." But we cannot say that to outsiders, to other countries, right?
We cannot, because they have investment in our country, right? They have investment in our country. They have their people in our country.
Yeah.
They have a lot of stakes in seeing Thailand stabilize, seeing Thailand doing economically well, seeing political certainty. I think they have a lot of interest in us, and whether we listen or not, I think that is the question mark.
I know, but if the statement from the foreign ministry, translates literally from the Thai, then the interpretation from the Western governments would say, "Oh, you mean you don't care? You mean you would stay your own course? We stay our own course. Don't mind your own business." Is that right? Is that what you're telling us?
That's what the message that we're saying. But we cannot operate alone in the international arena, right? The world is connected, is even more connected than before, and then in technology, where our people need to travel like the case in point is that we want Schengen visa for Thai people, right? And then why would they give us Schengen visa if the country is so destabilized that Thai people want to escape Thailand, right? So we will just go to Europe and not come back. So it's in the interest of the EU country to see us stabilize, to see us develop, to
stay home,
break the middle income trap so that we want to stay in Thailand, so they can give us Schengen visa and we can go travel back and forth, right? So now the country is in a mess. All young people wants to just leave Thailand. Why would anyone give us free visa to go into their country, right? Because we would just stay there.
I know. So keep hopeful and keep a watchful eye on what is happening. My generation, we are on the way out. Your generation will have to face the full thrust of what happens from now on.
Yeah, I think the impact will be very long lasting. Right?
Yeah. And not only your generation, the younger people younger than your generation, 18, 20, 25, would even feel more disappointment with this, I'm sure. So
if anything that kills the hopes and dreams of young people, I think is problematic in the international eyes. Why would a company invest in Thailand when in the future the young people are not given the chance to run the country, right? Because they need their companies to grow. They need returns on their investment, and that will happen in the future. And without future, without young people, without voters, without people being respected, I don't see much hope in this.
Okay, you cannot give up. So keep an eye on it, and we'll talk again to see how the situation develops. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
สวัสดีครับ